On this day in history, November 28th, Skanderbeg triumphantly led his forces to liberate Kruja from Ottoman control on November 28, 1443, marking a pivotal moment in Albanian history. The raising of the Albanian flag over the fortress of Kruja symbolized the first major success in Albania's resistance against Ottoman rule. Skanderbeg would go on to use Kruja as his base of operations for the next 25 years in his campaign against the Ottoman Empire. William Shakespeare and Anne Hathaway paid a substantial marriage bond of £40 on November 28, 1582, enabling them to expedite their wedding process. The bond, worth approximately £14,557 in modern currency, allowed them to bypass the traditional 3-week waiting period for marriage bans. This hasty arrangement has led to centuries of speculation among historians, as Anne was already pregnant with their first child, Susanna, who was born 6 months after the wedding. The Polish-Lithuanian naval forces achieved their most significant victory on November 28, 1627, during the Battle of Oliwa against Swedish ships. The battle demonstrated the tactical superiority of Admiral Aaron Dickman's fleet. Though he was killed during the engagement, this victory would stand as the last major naval success for the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. A group of 12 distinguished men, including luminaries such as Christopher Wren and Robert Boyle, gathered at Gresham College on November 28, 1660, to establish what would become the Royal Society. This meeting laid the foundation for one of the world's oldest and most prestigious scientific institutions. The Royal Society would go on to play a crucial role in advancing scientific knowledge and methodology throughout the centuries. The Royal Scots Army, led by Tam Dalyell of the Binns, engaged in a decisive battle against Covenanter insurgents on November 28, 1666, near Pentland Hills. The significantly larger royal force of 3,000 men overwhelmed the approximately 900 Covenanters led by James Wallace of Aachen. The Battle of Rullion Green ended in a decisive victory for the government forces and marked a significant moment in Scottish religious conflicts. The Times of London achieved a revolutionary breakthrough on November 28, 1814, when it became the first newspaper to utilize a steam-powered printing press. The innovative machine, constructed by the German engineering team of Koenig and Bauer, could produce an unprecedented 1,100 sheets per hour. This technological advancement marked the beginning of modern newspaper mass production and changed the landscape of print media forever. The Kingdom of Hawaii celebrated a momentous achievement on November 28, 1843, when it gained official recognition as an independent nation from both the United Kingdom and France. This day, known as Kalawai, Hawaiian Independence Day, represented a crucial diplomatic victory for the Hawaiian monarchy. The recognition helped establish Hawaii's sovereignty on the international stage, though this independence would ultimately be short-lived. Union forces under General James G. Blunt secured a significant victory on November 28, 1862, in the Battle of Cane Hill during the American Civil War. The Union troops successfully pushed back Confederate forces led by General John Marmaduke in northwestern Arkansas. This victory helped secure Union control in the region and demonstrated Blunt's tactical prowess. A group of English footballers established Notts County Football Club on November 28, 1862, making it the world's oldest professional association football club. The club's formation in Nottingham marked the beginning of a rich tradition in English football history. Notts County would later become a founding member of the Football League in 1888. The first American automobile race made history on November 28, 1895, covering a challenging 54-mile route from Chicago's Jackson Park to Evanston, Illinois. Frank Duryea emerged victorious after navigating his motorized wagon through snowy conditions for approximately 10 hours. Only 6 of the original 83 entrants showed up for the race, and Duryea's victory helped establish the viability of the automobile as a reliable means of transportation. Irish nationalist Arthur Griffith took a bold step on November 28, 1905, by founding Sinn Féin as a political party. The party's primary objective was to establish a dual monarchy system in Ireland, similar to the Austro-Hungarian model. This founding moment would prove crucial in Irish history, though the party's goals would later evolve significantly from Griffith's original vision. The New York Stock Exchange resumed its operations on November 28, 1914, after an unprecedented closure that began in July due to World War I. The reopening was limited to bond trading as the exchange took careful steps to restore financial market operations. This marked the first time in the exchange's history that it had faced such a lengthy closure due to war. The Estonian Provincial Assembly made a historic declaration on November 28, 1917, asserting itself as the sovereign power of Estonia. This bold move represented a crucial step toward Estonian independence from Russian control. The declaration laid the groundwork for the establishment of an independent Estonian state. Lady Astor achieved a historic milestone on November 28, 1919, when she was elected as the first woman to sit in the British House of Commons. Her election in Plymouth Sutton marked a significant breakthrough in women's political representation in the United Kingdom. While Countess Markievicz had technically been elected first, she refused to take her seat due to her allegiance to the Irish Republican cause. War veterans from various Allied nations gathered in Paris on November 28, 1920, to establish FIDAC, the Interallied Federation of War Veterans Organizations. This marked the creation of the first international organization dedicated to representing the interests of war veterans. FIDAC would go on to play a crucial role in advocating for veterans' rights and maintaining bonds between former allies. Three of the world's most powerful leaders, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin, convened on November 28, 1943, for the Tehran Conference in Iran. This marked the first time all three major Allied leaders met together during World War II. The conference focused on crucial war strategy decisions, including the planning of Operation Overlord and the opening of a second front against Nazi Germany. The United States achieved a significant military milestone on November 28, 1958, with the first successful flight of the SM-65 Atlas, America's first operational intercontinental ballistic missile. The Atlas rocket represented a major advancement in military technology and became the foundation for an entire family of rockets. This successful test flight marked the beginning of a new era in both military capabilities and space exploration. NASA launched the groundbreaking Mariner 4 probe on November 28, 1964, beginning its historic journey toward Mars. The spacecraft was designed to conduct the first flyby study of the red planet. The mission would go on to capture the first close-up photographs of another planet from space, revolutionizing our understanding of Mars. Senior officials of the National Security Council reached a critical decision on November 28, 1964, agreeing to recommend a two-stage escalation of bombing in North Vietnam to President Lyndon B. Johnson. This recommendation represented a significant intensification of U.S. military involvement in the conflict. The proposal would lead to dramatic changes in the conduct of the Vietnam War. Philippine President-elect Ferdinand Marcos made a significant announcement on November 28, 1965, pledging to send troops to South Vietnam in response to President Johnson's call for more flags. This decision marked the Philippines' direct military involvement in the Vietnam conflict. The commitment demonstrated the growing international scope of the Vietnam War and the influence of American foreign policy in Southeast Asia. Michel Micombeiro fundamentally altered Burundi's political landscape on November 28, 1966, when he overthrew the monarchy and declared himself the country's first president. The coup marked the end of the centuries-old Burundian monarchy and the beginning of a new republican era. Micombeiro's actions would have lasting implications for Burundi's political future and ethnic relations. Two astronomers, Jocelyn Bell Burnell and Antony Hewish, made a groundbreaking discovery on November 28, 1967, when they detected the first pulsar in the constellation of Vulpecula, designated PSRB 1919+21. This discovery opened up an entirely new field of astronomical research and understanding of neutron stars. The finding would later lead to a controversial Nobel Prize award to Hewish in 1974, while Bell Burnell was notably excluded. The last executions in Paris took place on November 28, 1972, when Claude Buffet and Roger Bontemps met their fate at the guillotine in La Sande prison. The executions marked the end of capital punishment in the French capital, though not yet in the entire country. Their cases had drawn significant public attention and contributed to the ongoing debate about capital punishment in France. The Iranian Navy achieved a decisive victory on November 28, 1980, during Operation Morvarid, effectively destroying the majority of the Iraqi Navy in the Persian Gulf. This naval engagement represented a crucial turning point in the Iran-Iraq War's maritime component. The victory was so significant that Iran continues to commemorate this date as Navy Day. The Space Shuttle Columbia embarked on a historic mission on November 28, 1983, carrying the European Space Agency Spacelab module for the first time on STS-9. This mission represented a significant milestone in international space cooperation. The Spacelab module provided a versatile laboratory environment for conducting experiments in microgravity. British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher's remarkable 11-year tenure came to an end on November 28, 1990, when she resigned as leader of the Conservative Party and consequently as Prime Minister. Her departure marked the end of an era that had fundamentally transformed British politics and society through her policies of privatization, deregulation, and union reform. John Major emerged as her successor in both positions, taking on the challenge of leading a divided Conservative Party and a changing nation. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll see you in the next video.